Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for purchasing a reading. Nope. For tuning into your love reading. There we go. For the main part of the reading, I'm using The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay. We're going to do relationship first, single second. Oracle cards come out as needed. Something isn't working right for your partner. Something is definitely not working right. And I feel like this is causing a lot of confrontation from you towards them. Something is lacking. I almost feel like they're constantly trying to make something work and it's just failing. It's not working out. They're constantly trying, and it's just not working. It's just a situation where it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and you're like, you're going backwards. You are not making headway, you're regressing. And you keep trying to tell them that, I'm seeing with the 5 of Wands on your side, like you're getting very upset with this. Because you're like, it's not bad that you want to do something, and it's not bad that you're willing to try, but it is bad that you're putting in a lot of effort, and you're just losing ground, constantly losing ground. So I'm seeing this is happening. I do see what's... I feel like they need to change their whole approach is the thing. They do need to change their whole approach. They're very upset about it is what I'm getting, but they have the 3 of Swords as their challenge card with the abundance. Like, they have to fail before they can succeed is how that kind of feels. Whatever they're doing, the way they're doing it, they have to first admit that they're failing. They have to see it for the failure that it is and why it's failing. They have to admit that to themselves. Like, it's failing, and they have to see, like, they have to realize that it's either, whatever it is that's failing, they have to identify what it is. Is it them and their contribution, or is it there's something outside of their control that they're trying to overcompensate for that they can't, basically? This can turn around, but I feel like it's very uncomfortable for them to do so. They have to change the way they're handling it. If they change their complete perspective and the way they handle the situation, they do have a chance to make this turn around. Definitely do. They have the Hermit card here on their side in the spiritual spot. Like, they really have to take a hard look at it, though. And you might want to promote that, like, because they're not giving up on it. I feel like they won't give up on it. So when you're upset with them, because I do feel like the people I'm connecting with are upset with their partner over this, you got to get them to look deeper. You got to get them to sort out what is wrong. Why is it failing? Is it what they're doing? Or is it something outside of their control that they can't change? Which, either way, they're going to have to change their perspective and change the complete way they're handling this. It's almost like trying to take a minivan to the store and realizing, like, even though a minivan seems like it would hold a lot, they actually need a pickup truck because there's a couple big items that they're going to get from this store that are not going to fit in that minivan. And it's kind of like, well, they have to change everything around, and either that or they have to stop trying to get whatever they want from that store. Something to that effect is what I'm getting. Because the way they're approaching it, to them it seems like this should work, and they just keep trying. But it's kind of like, technically it's just not going to make it. They're going to have to find a different way to do it. So if they need a pickup truck or something like that, they're going to have to rent one or borrow one or get a friend to help them or a relative or something. Because this needs to change. Their whole approach needs to change. Either that or maybe instead of trying to get it, they're going to have to see if they can find a different store that sells the same thing and that will deliver it. One of the two. Something like that. Like, it's the approach is like, their original approach is like, I will go get it. I will get it with the minivan. It's not going to work. So they have to change their whole approach. They even might have to get it from a different store is what I'm getting. So they don't want to do this because it's like, oh, if I get it from that other store, it's $50 more. Plus I have to pay for shipping or pay for the transportation if I do. So it could be like $150 more. Well, how much is it worth to you? Because you're wasting time. You're losing ground in this. You're just failing. So what is it worth to you? the wheel is coming up for them. The wheel is coming up. This next spot, the way they do this next time around, they're putting a lot of thought into it because they do have the King of Swords. So they're going to do their last-ditch effort, but it is the last-ditch effort. It's going to either pass or fail this time. Pass or fail. This is kind of the last-ditch effort. They got the King of Swords. Don't get caught in the gender, of course, but they've put a lot of thought in this. They've looked at it as honestly as they can, and when this wheel comes around, pass or fail at this time. When I see you on the other side, you have the Five of Swords kind of like... It's kind of like you're like, really? You're going to try this again? I feel like you're already kind of reserved, kind of like, you know what, whatever. I just don't see... You're kind of annoyed with how much time they've spent on it already, and you're just kind of like, you know what, if that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do. It doesn't matter to you as much as it matters to them is what I'm getting. Because I feel like you're already annoyed that you're not expecting it to work out. So if they need to make their last-ditch effort, fine. You're really not expecting it to work out. But I'm also getting your challenge card is try not to discourage them. Let them do their last-ditch effort, which might be hard. Because for Aries, and I do connect to that energy a lot, if you really think they're just running in circles and you're just like, you're seeing them try one more last-ditch effort, you're just kind of like... Yeah, go ahead, waste more time. I feel like you're just getting really annoyed with it. Just kind of like... But your challenge card is to not stop them. Let them do this. I feel like they're going to do it either way. They're just not backing off with it. You do have the King of Wands, but they have the King of Swords, so they're not going to back down. This is like an even match, just coming at a situation in different perspectives. So, if you can... And I feel like not all of you are going to be able to do this because some of you are really annoyed. If you can, the advice here is to help them out. Try to guide them through this as they're doing their last-ditch effort. Talk it out with them. Tell me why this isn't working. Tell me what you've been doing. What's the roadblock? Because I feel like you might be able to help them in the sense of like, all right, so the minivan isn't working. And in fact, you're looking at this like, I don't really think a pickup truck is even going to work for this, not well. I think what you need is a flatbed, and actually I do have a friend that has a flatbed, and maybe we can make this work out. I feel like that's your energy. Like, your energy has some, you have more possibilities, more resource. They really want this. You might be able to find a way to make this work, but they're going to have to give in to you a little bit and let you in and let you do it. For them to do that, though, they have to believe you're on their side and that you really want this to happen for them. As long as they believe you want this to happen for them, they will give in to you and let you help them. Because I'm getting, this would make things better. You helping them try. Like, it's the last-ditch effort. This is either pass or fail. I really feel like either way, you seem to be thinking it's not going to work. But if they just at least believe you want this for them, and maybe you do. You do want this for them, but you're not believing it's going to work out. I'm seeing that with the Fool, kind of like, yeah, well, if it does, it doesn't, but I really don't think it's gonna. No sweat. I'm not invested in it. I feel like you're emotionally not invested with it because you're like, I don't think it's gonna happen, so it's fine. That's kind of the fancy-free, kind of like the Fool, kind of like, yeah, whatever. Happens what happens. I don't think anything's gonna happen here. But even if you're still feeling that way, you could be like, well, I do want this for you, so I'll help you, and if there's a way to make it happen, I'll help you make it happen. You can still be fancy-free, yet still honestly connected. Like, if there's a way to do it, I'll help you do it. I'll make it happen with you. I'll help you make it happen. Because I feel like if you add in that way, if there's any chance of this really happening, it will happen. If you add in, it really increases their chances of getting success. Their final card, though, is what I'm going to get. They're not going to get the total success, is what I'm getting. They get the Four of Cups with the focus. They're really going to have to shave it down a bit. They're going to have to miss, like, something is not going to work out completely the way they want it to. Something is just not going to work out all the way that, it's not going to make it all the way. They should get a, like, that's the 3/4 here. That's a 3/4 success. Like, it's better than halfway, but it's not the total win is what I'm getting. They're going to have to really work to make it happen. It's going to take a lot of focus. So they're going to need a lot of help to make that happen. They might get a little farther with you. You probably help them get a better benefit than they would have on their own. True, but there's still going to be some degree of loss. For some of them, oddly enough, I feel like the degree of loss is because they literally have to have you help them, and they're kind of bummed out, kind of like they should have been able to do it on their own, but they're still thankful to have it. They're kind of like, I feel like there's almost like a level of embarrassment, like this would not have worked out without your help. And it's kind of like you've been arguing with them for a while, and they're kind of just feeling a little weird about it. If you're aware of that, you can do what you need to do with that energy. But I feel like that might be kind of the 3/4 win here. Just kind of like they did get what they wanted, but not without your help. And that might just make them feel a little bit embarrassed, is what I'm getting. A little bit weird, because they've been fighting with you all this time. Just be aware of that energy and handle it as necessary, is what I'm getting. And that's what we got for Aries in relationships. Okay. Let's now see what we have for Aries. Single Aries. All the single Aries. Alright, what do we got for the single Aries? Messages for single Aries. Alright, let's do a couple of these, a couple of those. Single Aries. I'm going to do a little bit of a side shuffle here. That's enough. I don't know if we even want to do these cards for some reason. Sovereignty was kind of pushing out a little bit. I'm not really sure if we want these out yet. I think I'm going to read it, and then if it comes back to these, I'll put them down. I'm not really feeling it, just to be fair. The Queen of Cups is in the center. It's coming in with the Hermit, though. It's not quite working. It's almost like I feel like you're fishing, in a sense. Like you're putting your information out there, you're putting the interest out there, but nobody's really biting or showing you the interest that you want. And it reminds me of fishing too. Is like sometimes you catch small fish or undesirable things, maybe a boot, and you're just like, who the hell wants a boot? Like a wet, soggy boot. That's okay, I'm good. And it's kind of like you're looking and you're trying and you're putting out the effort, but it's kind of like you want to fall in love, you want to find somebody to connect with, but you're not. It's just not clicking. It's just not. And I feel like you're not getting the right people coming towards you. Even those who come towards you, you're like, oh, no, 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 no. That's not for me. Nope, nope, nope. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. You're standing here with the King of Wands energy, though, like you really do want this to happen. You have a very good standard, too. I'm looking in your past here with the King of Swords, and don't get caught up in the gender of either of these, but you know what you want. You know clearly what you want. Clearly what you want. And there's reference to the past in the sense of, like, either there was a partnership that kind of went its way, like it ended and you really rather it didn't, or you're looking at a past connection. And you're looking at, like, I like these parts of that relationship, and I want those parts again in the new one. I just don't want these other pieces. It's kind of like, all right, I had a really good communicative partner. We did a lot of things together. You know, there was a lot of, you know, good talks, a lot of intellectual activity, but they were kind of like, you know, they were very demoralizing. When they were in a bad mood, it was horrible. You know, when we got in fights, the fights were terrible. It got to the point where we just couldn't stand each other. But I still want somebody who communicates, but I want somebody who communicates more the way I want to communicate. I want somebody who's more into, you know, getting along rather than fighting things out and causing arguments. It's almost like there's an energy in the past that was more argumentative. And you're like, I don't want the arguments again, but I do like somebody who's willing to stand up for their own views and, you know, talk things out. I just don't want it to become like throwing knives at each other type argument. I don't want that to happen. But you're definitely like, it's like I feel like you really want somebody intellectual, somebody who can speak their mind, tell you what they mean, tell you how they feel, so you can work things out and then make things happen from that. And I'm getting this Knight of Pentacles at the top too. You don't need this to happen in 2 seconds. You're willing to work this out. You're willing to find this person and get to know them. You're willing to get to know them on their terms. Like if they want it to go really slow, they can go really slow. If they want to go fast, you can do fast. That's not a problem either, but you got to feel confident with it. That's the whole thing with that. Aries can easily go fast, easily, but they won't go fast in something if they're not 100% sure that it's good for them or it's right for them. Usually, I know Aries can be reckless, but I'm not feeling it here. So, like, I'm not feeling it. Like, that's a fire sign. All fire signs have kind of that double-edged sword. Like, they can be once in a while a little bit reckless depending on the situation, but also with that same fire energy, usually they learn early in life that, like, being too reckless has a lot of repercussions, a lot of serious repercussions, and they usually temper it down to, like, you know what, being a little reckless and spending $50 at the mall, that's one thing, but spending the rent money on a night out on like bottle service, that's another. I don't know why we're talking about that, but that's what's popping in. So I feel like you're not looking to be reckless in the sense of, like, I don't want to, like, have repercussions 2 months down the road for choices I'm making, but you're willing to move fast based if you're confident on what you're moving fast on. You prefer things to go a little slow, though. When I'm feeling that, I feel like you do. I really feel like you prefer to go slow because you're kind of like going fast is where you've had problems before. That's another thing you're looking for, to go a little slower, to really understand who you're getting to know. Hanging out and doing things is one thing, but merging lives together too quickly, that's what you don't want to go fast with. And I feel like you're like, no. We can hang out and do things and do a lot together, but for a few months, I just want to get to know who they are before I add them into my life. Okay. Now, I've got the Emperor coming up in the future. I feel like, don't get caught up in the gender. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It's basically saying the energy you're exhibiting is kind of like, yeah, I see a lot of people having fun. I see a lot of possibilities, but I see underdeveloped attitudes around me. It doesn't mean somebody's too young or that they're too flitty, I would say. It's just that they're not looking for that connection that you're looking for. You're like, I'm really looking for somebody who wants to build a life and move forward to the next level. And I'm not seeing that with what's coming towards me. I feel like I have people kind of like in the drive-by mode, or just kind of like, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, so what? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to spend time with somebody just like, oh, it could be good for a moment. I'm looking to invest. I want to meet somebody that I can feel good with and stay with and build a life with. It's interesting because Aries energy can change very easily when it wants to. But when I'm feeling where you're going in a love sense, you're like, I'm not looking for something that's just kind of here today, gone tomorrow. I don't want that. I know what I want, I'm looking for it, and I'm looking to lock it in. And I'm getting that with the Pentacles and the Emperor in the future, and I don't see you finding exactly what you want. This is reminding me of Sagittarius. I was trying not to say it, but it is really making me feel the same way. The single Sagittarius read that I'm having in the same section. Except your ending is a little different. I think we are going to do one card. Alright, so this is all meshing together. The environment, Page of Swords. Anybody around you who seems interested is just not making the grade. They're not aggressive enough, I want to say, or not active enough. They're not showing you interest enough. It's just, you're not... Anybody around you, you're just not feeling like there's anything there of substance that will really take hold. You're feeling like there's enough around you to where somebody would hang around for a few weeks maybe, but you're not confident that they would really go longer than that. You have the Queen of Pentacles in your thoughts. I'm not looking for a 5-week romance. I'm looking for the rest of my life. This is very similar to Sagittarius in that way. The way this is ending for this one is like, I just don't see it coming in just yet. It's just not there just yet. I feel like that's just the truth of what I'm seeing here. I'd like to have more of a Disney happy ending, obviously. Don't we all love those? But it's just not happening here. What I'm seeing here is the 5 of Cups. And is it the 5, right? Yep, 5. And the surrender. It's just kind of like, I feel like what they're saying is, this might be more of a time for you to just enjoy your life. And just, when somebody shows up, they'll show up. Because it's like you're actively looking, and it's almost like the more you look, it's almost like you're putting up a barrier. It's almost like an invisible barrier. The more you look, the more it pushes that person away. I don't understand how that's happening, other than Like, just, you have to let somebody come towards you on their terms and start to get to know somebody. I just feel at this time, they're not showing up. For now, they're not showing up. I'm just not seeing it. So I hate to be a downer, but that's what's popping in here. Anything else? I feel like this is good because I think it's your standards that's kind of limiting a little bit, but it seems like that's not bad because when somebody does finally pop in, I feel like you have a chance of really keeping it because you're like, nah, I'm not willing to just drop my standards just to have somebody to fill this position. I'm not willing to do it. And it does make sense to me that it's not going to last forever. I feel like from whenever you're watching this video, for the next 3 to 4 months, this is how long before this energy passes. Like 3 to 4 months, and then you're going to go into a new phase, and we'll see from there. So this should probably last 3 to 4 months where you're just not finding what you're looking for. That's kind of what I'm getting. Anything else? All right. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.